Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Auto Tech Show. Of course, our podcast that talks everything automotive technology and innovation. My name is Mark Babin, your host, and it's great to have you with me. So many people tuning into this episode, and it's a really good one. As you know from the title, today on this pod, we're looking at how you can effectively bring innovation into your company culture at the deepest levels to help foster creative thinking and empower your team to make great innovative steps forward. Now, to do this, I'm very honored to bring in all the way from Montreal, Canada, Dave Casey. Dave is an expert on all things innovation and is the founder at Innovation Leaders Club, an elite club composed exclusively of senior executives in innovation leadership positions, of course, with their primary purpose be to share best practices and experience among these innovation leaders to propel it forward. Dave, I love the association, the organization's goal. It's fantastic work that they're doing. And it's great to have you on this episode to really bring this topic to the forefront. It's one that we keep hearing come up. So I'm really excited to have you on, and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for having me today, and I'll try my best. I'm wearing two hats, so I'm the founder of the Innovation Leaders Club, so I'll try to do my best to represent the 2,500 club members that we have, and I do spend, I would say, almost every day having at least discussion, also attending sessions. So I've heard a lot of things about those innovators, but I'm also hands-on supporting these organizations to increase the innovation capacity. So I'll be juggling between the two, what I see and what I first experience on site. And I'm sure there's a lot of things interesting we're going to come up.
We have developed a 60-page visual guidebook on how to develop an innovation strategy. It is a fully illustrated step-by-step guide to building the foundation of an innovation system. Click the link in the description below to download it for free.
Let's jump straight in to, I think, one of the key things that I love to discuss, those key reasons for fostering a culture of innovation. We see that it's more important and more critical now than ever to really have this. So what are some of those key reasons that people should have it, especially when we look at the automotive industry, and why innovation as a culture is so important within it?
I'll start right away with survival. Okay? Because if you do not innovate, ultimately, if you do not evolve, if you do not get to something else, ultimately your organization will die. Let's take, for instance, the dinosaur. They die not because they were not strong enough. It's just they were not able to evolve, and much smaller animal species went through some of the tough periods into the million years ago, but because they were capable of evolving. So we see it in large organizations, especially in the car industry. We see some that are not evolving fast enough because there's a lot of new challenger coming to the, and ultimately that may becomes an issue. I'll give an example with Encyclopedia Britannica, which was the leading encyclopedia for those that had to make research back, let's say, 15, 20 years ago. You were going to the library, and if you were having part of the text or content coming from this, you were sure that you were going to get good grade or for your homework. But now people don't even use that reference, which in fact was at one point the best reference. What happened to Britannica? It's just they couldn't evolve, and now the brand's still trying to do something, but ultimately they aren't the reference for when it comes to encyclopedia. The other reason why organizations want to innovate, it's they are looking for growth. So there are different types of organizations. There are those that want to make profits, and there are some that don't necessarily looking for profits, but they have other key performance indicator. I'll take an hospital, for instance, which it's related to the government, but their key performance indicator, it's they want to serve more patients, they want to do more surgery. So they have different ways of measuring, but ultimately they want to grow. They want to grow capacity. But if I take in the car industry, most of the organization are there to make profit. Ultimately, you want to grow your organization. If you don't want to grow your organization, and if it's not yours, if it's yours, it's okay. But if you manage an organization for someone else, so there's someone else owner, and you don't want to grow, most of the time you're not going to keep your job. Mm-hmm. So innovation is an excellent way of growing. And from what I've seen in the past, organizations are capable of, when they are innovating, to get half of their growth for innovation. I'll take an example, like a very fast-growing organization growing 10% a year. So 10% is very fast-growing. So
Absolutely.
If I divide 72 by 10, it makes 7. 7 means you double every 7. So it's the rule of 72. And but the rule of thumb of innovative organization, you can get half of your growth from the innovation. So 10% growth, so it means that you could get 5% growth to your innovation. So that's very important, knowing that the other 5% could be price increase and also a little bit of market increase. So you see the real organic growth, because price increase, you don't make more profit, because you do end up having price increase from your supplier. So you do push your price, and you get higher costs as well for making things. So you don't make at the end more money. But organic growth coming from innovation, that's very profitable. Talking about profitability, most of the innovation, when they're done right, they satisfy a latent needs, or resolve a problem. So in some cases, and if things are done right, people are willing to pay more for something that is innovative. So it means that if you replace something that had a low margin with something that really resolve a problem, you will end up making more margin. And the last but not the least, it's sustainability. And in the automotive industry, that is key, because transportation, if you look in the issues that we have on this planet, it's one of the problem. I think we're looking like at 20% for some cases for the greenhouse gases that we have, and so innovation is to make sure that our species can live for a long time, but also we preserve the other species, and ultimately we'll have to change. And that change, I feel that it's operating quite rapidly right now in your industry.
Do you feel like there's a lot of opportunity within a conservative industry? Like, we know automotive, just from what we hear and what we see, they're slow to adopt change. And whether that's because there's so many different elements, different pieces that have to talk to each other. But for a company that can truly bring innovation down to its cultural level, do you think there's an opportunity for them to make big leaps and bounds in the industry? Maybe they're a no-name and they become somebody rather quickly because they chose to be innovative?
Yeah, but in fact, that's what happened to Tesla, for instance. So, and right now, we see that the large car manufacturers are being slow at adopting. So what it does, it allows us, or it gives room for challenger to come and challenge these guys. Now I feel that they start moving, but and it's not because they aren't working hard. Like I do support organization that and a lot of them that have to handle current product lines, and also they have those huge, massive plans. And the thing is, the challenge when you're established, and it's what you have to support the current while you're making the new, and that's what is tough. While you new, but you just have to build the new. But just because sometimes financing is a real issue. But the thing is, you don't have anything in the past, so you start from scratch, and so that's why challenger. And right now, because some of the challenger are being successful, then there's investors that are willing to invest into challengers, and But when we look in the innovation into the automotive industry, it's a story of innovation.
Yeah.
So if you look back all the way back, let's say to Henry Ford, when he brought the Ford Model T, I think it was back in 1908 or something, and so it's more than 115 years. So that was a real innovation. The car by itself was not so innovative, but it's the way he was thinking a business was really innovative, because the way that at that time people were doing a business, it was that they were manufacturing their components, or at least a lot of them. They were assembling those cars and they were selling those cars. So what Henry Ford did, he said, you know what I'll do is I'll do assembly. Okay, so I'm going to get others to manufacture the components. I will assemble them, and then I'll get someone else to sell them. So what it means, those are the dealers. Okay, so you see so you have the supply chain of component, then you have assembler, and then you have dealers. And I said 1908, so 150 years ago. And if you look at the business model right now of those large car manufacturer, it looks like it's the same. Okay, so obviously when you get into, let's say, Tesla arrived with something to challenge. So first they really challenge the dealer, for instance. They said, we're going to sell direct. Because right now with the internet, there's no need necessarily to have a dealer that, in fact, when it's going to dealership, you don't necessarily control things. You leave a lot of profits on the table, and brick and mortars in some cases, maybe out of date, very costly approach. Challenge also the car design, coming up with things. And I haven't worked with Tesla myself, but I work with some components manufacturer of Tesla. So I see Tesla challenging them and also giving them freedom to do some of the things, to trial things, while the other car manufacturer are really top-down, very cutthroat approach, very difficult to. While Tesla, there's a lot of, okay, let's give it a trial. Let's work together to find solution. And so some of the club members are suppliers to Tesla, and they really feel that they can trial things. And ultimately, they ended up being successful. They have also a culture, Tesla, of sharing a patent, while the large car manufacturers tend to stick to their patent. So why they share patent? Because they want more and more people using the patent. So we produce more and more of those components. So we get economy of scales and reduce the car costs. So in order to get the Model 3 to a larger population, they had to reduce the cost, because ultimately, higher sales level comes with volume. So if you sell high-end Model S, you're not going to get that volume.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
That's what we experience.
If you haven't already done so, you can get your hands on our popular 60-page visual guidebook for free. Click the link in the description below. Don't hesitate to watch the next video to learn even more about innovation management practices.